Hey everybody, welcome back to another full self-driving video. I'm really excited here in downtown Chicago with the latest version of full self-driving. This is 12.5.4.1. This is an exciting video because it gave me goosebumps again and again. There were so many amazing examples of its performance. To start out here, look at the steering wheel. It jerks back and forth a little bit. Elon Musk mentioned on X recently that this is going to be improved with a smoothness upgrade for hardware 3. So my car is a hardware 3 Intel processor. Look at this. Semi-truck approaching, wide turn. What is going to happen? Absolutely incredible. This is one of those moments that really impressed me. This happens again and again throughout this drive. I'm very impressed with the recent performance of full self-driving. I have to do a replay just because of the gravity of that move there. It was so well done, perfectly maneuvered over to the right, and then continued going straight forward. I absolutely loved that. We have a short jog into the city here. If you remember from my last video, it was during Mexican Independence Day and it was dark outside. I do have the night mode turned on for my screen and I'm capturing high fidelity output over an HDMI cable. I will be explaining exactly how I film my videos in a future video, so stay tuned for that. But take a look going into the city. The right turn signal goes on and it realizes, oh, there's a lot of traffic there. It turns it off, continues going straight, but watch what happens as we merge onto the highway here. The left turn signal goes on, which is correct, but then very briefly the right turn signal goes on. There's the right turn signal, and then left, and then watch this, right again. So a little bit confusing. Thankfully nobody behind us, but those moments, there's a couple of them in this video where the turn signal behavior is a little bit off. But look at this scene here. This is absolutely beautiful. In fact, I think I'm going to use this for the thumbnail graphic of this video. Let's just make some adjustments here, remove all of these, expand this, and one more little touch here. Let's move it up. Perfect right there. Yes. That's going to be a great thumbnail. All right. Let's take a look here as we get into the city. Watch this merge. Look at all of the traffic. Now this is the stack, the highway stack is separate from the city street stack. And we know now with 12.5.6, which just came out for hardware 4, we know that they've been combined. Look at that, moving in so nicely there. There are moments where it does so well with merging, and then other times where it's kind of 50-50. But I'm hearing really good news with speed control. Dirty Tesla mentioned that speed control on the highway is really good, and it performs very well on the highway. However, on city streets, the speeds, although the speed settings are different, it's not as polished or not as great. Look at this, it's trying to get over to the left, but there's a lot of cars. Finally, it finds the gap. It was super patient. A lot of other cars saw me, and then here it's getting over again, another lane. We are taking it to this hotel to begin with, and this hotel over by Michigan Avenue, if you come in going east into the city, it ends up forcing you down to Lower Wacker Drive. And this is a route that I absolutely love to test just because it is so neat to see it go into the tunnel. Now, when you go into the tunnel, you do lose GPS connectivity. But this time, and I don't know why, this time the route takes me to Upper Wacker Drive. Very interesting how it changed its mind, and I really can't explain why it did that. But here we need to get over to the right. You're going to see the right turn signal goes on. Look at the path here now. I'm going to slow this down. It's going to the right, and that's correct, but now watch, it changes its mind at the last second and tries to go left. Very confusing for anybody that was behind me. Not sure what that was all about, but I had to slow that down. Very, very strange there. Coming through here, I love going through this tunnel. Thankfully, my GoPro camera up on the top of my car has enough clearance that it doesn't hit the ceiling. I've had a couple situations where I've had to be careful, but you can see there it says Upper Wacker Drive. So now instead of going left, we're going to go right. It seemed to hesitate there. Finally, the right turn signal went on very briefly to indicate that we were going right. So passing through here, we do still need to go to Lower Wacker Drive to get to this hotel. And you can see up here in 0.2 miles, we are getting onto South Lower Wacker Drive. Now the entrance here is very interesting. It's the same entrance that my car tried to take in my previous video during Mexican Independence Day at night, and it missed it entirely. So the question is, will it miss it here? Take a close look. We've got two lights here. It's getting over, really nice. It's kind of preparing for this left turn. Now it's not really a left turn. This is a very strange entrance. It's in the middle of the road and it goes downwards into this tunnel. Now you can see my hand in the bottom left. I'm kind of prepping for this. I'm thinking, okay, it's not this left turn lane. It's even confusing for me as a human to figure out where this entrance is. So now my hand goes up again here and I'm like, we got to go left, come on. Turn signal goes on, that's a good thing, but it doesn't go there. So unfortunately, I gave it all the time in the world to figure it out, but it just doesn't know what to do there. So that's the first disengagement, to force it down to Lower Wacker Drive. They've filmed a lot of movies down here, like Blues Brothers and Dark Knight, a lot of different Hollywood films, a really exciting area to drive through. Light is green, proceeds forward, changes yellow right as I'm going through, but it doesn't skip a beat. Now the question is it going to get all the way over to the right? Yes, it does. So it took its time, nobody behind me, but then look at this. This is again that unusual behavior. It gets back over to the left, kind of creating some mixed signals for people around me. And then again here, trying to get over to the right. So right here as it's about to go, some cars come up behind me. I do have my camera up above so you can see all the vehicles around me. I have had problems with that barrier over there to the right. This time we're in the far left lane, no issues. And you can see down at the bottom it says poor GPS location accuracy. We do approach some blinking yellow lights coming up here and it does just fine. You can see here stopping. I do spend a lot of time here speeding things up just to save everybody a lot of time with watching this. Here's the blinking yellow lights. Goes through really great. You can see kind of slowing down a little bit, but that's mainly because the cars in front of me are slowing down. And you can see up here at the next light, we need to go right. And it's making me a little bit nervous right now. We should be over there already. And if you go back, you can see the tentacles really wanting to get over there. And there's not much distance now to get over to the right. So I'm a little bit anxious at this stage. I'm like, okay, let's just see if it can do it. It usually accelerates quickly, which it does right here. And then right here, turn signal goes on. But look at this, it is blocked. So what happens? It almost went. Thankfully, it didn't slow down. That's a great sign that it just continues to go, doesn't skip a beat. It recognized that it was blocked. A better thing would be if it turned off its turn signal, but it's hard to know whether it was indicating for this next intersection here or what, but the person behind me may have thought I was going to try to go there where I couldn't go. I do switch the views here. This is a new one. I have not filmed with this, but you can see the light down below. Throughout this drive, I am not touching the pedals and I'm not touching the steering wheel, except for the times when I do mention there is a disengagement or an intervention. Here it gets over to the right. This is a new path because that other road was blocked. But now take a look at this. This is really interesting. As we go through here, you can see the sunlight up above. It blinds the camera and actually shuts down full self-driving. Watch. In the moment, I didn't know exactly what was happening, so I have to drive manually here, but this is a gentleman named Spencer who had the same thing using full self-driving with 12.5.4 and 12.5.4.1. His camera is completely clear, by the way, no fogginess. I have a video coming up where I explain how you can clean up in here, because this is a new behavior. It seems to be a lot more sensitive. Some people have said that, oh, it's because you have this gas, the fog, or your window's not clean. Well, it is clean. In a lot of cases, it is clean. It is behaving differently. I'm seeing a lot of people that are having that issue with the latest version here. So that was the second disengagement, but it technically wasn't me disengaging. It was full self-driving kind of freaking out and not knowing how to handle that situation. As we move forward here, I wanted to draw your attention to the latest version 12.5.6. I can't wait to get this in my car. The auto speed setting is now gone, and this max speed setting is available, and it gets updated with the driver profiles. Can't wait to test that, although Omar Holmar's blog reported today, October 8th, 2024, that it drives below the speed limit on city streets. Here I re-enable full self-driving, and you can see I still have poor GPS location accuracy. We're going right at this intersection here, and then we're going to come onto Michigan Avenue. I'm taking it to the Nike store, and then over to the Trump International Tower, and then to the Chicago Theater. And then rather than taking it over to the Willis Tower, formerly the Sears Tower, I take it over to the lake, but it's not so interesting, so I close the video from there. Take a look at this. In the past, when it would come up to this intersection here, it would try to get over to the right, but you're going to see there's a road there. Sometimes it will actually stop so it doesn't block the road. But what's interesting in this situation is it goes directly forward, and I don't really care myself personally how it does this, but in this case it's just different behavior from what I've seen before. Usually it's a little bit more courteous to not block that intersection. Now, in the past I didn't have somebody directly behind me, so that could be related to this, but I absolutely love, and I'm saying this for my own self, I absolutely love this reverse camera, that camera in the back to show the cars, and I turn that on every time there is somebody behind me, just so that you're aware, because when you're using this software, these are the moments when it becomes especially, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but a little bit more, you're a lot more aware, right? Look at all these people in the intersection. So we have somebody right behind us. I have to be very careful. So it keeps going. My foot is ready to press on the accelerator if needed. Still a green light. Coming forward, it cleared out, all the pedestrians cleared out. Sometimes you have gaps, and it has done a really great job going through those gaps in the past, but handled that really nicely. This is Michigan Avenue. We're heading north, going over this bridge. Now take a look, it's going to get over to the right, but there's a bus there. I didn't even see this until a little bit later. The right turn signal is still on, nobody behind us. And then eventually it says, okay, I'm not going to go into that lane. And it just gives up. Now you can see coming up, it doesn't show it on the bottom right, but we are going to be going to the right. So eventually we do need to get into the right lane. But typically you have cars that are parking in that lane or dropping people off. So it's not always the best decision to go over into that lane. So these little turn signal behaviors give the impression that the car is doing some unusual things. And this is kind of the best indicator for people that a Tesla is driving itself automatically, is when you see some unusual turn signal behavior. Somebody right behind us, a lot of traffic here. We're kind of locked in place. We can't go to the right, but look at this. It immediately goes to the left to go around this ambulance. I love that. It was just so smooth and so nice and so timely. And all the cars there, and look, immediately after it passes by all of those and goes through this intersection, the right turn signal goes on to move back into the middle lane. Now there's some buses in the right lane. And again, our destination is up on the right here. I do modify these waypoints as we go to delete them so I don't have to pull over. Because what will happen is if you don't modify them, it will actually try to pull over and stop. So at this point, I removed that waypoint. Now look at this. This is so awesome. One of the best moments. All of these people, creeps. This is exactly what you need to do. I love that. So many moments like that just really, really impress me. This is one of my favorite areas to test with full self-driving down here. This little turn area. Look at this next intersection. It's a four-way stop. This car passes. I'm good to go, but now we have a pedestrian. Slows down for her, waits, and moves forward. There's a motorcycle there into the right. It saw that. Beautifully done. Just absolutely perfect. Up here, taking this right turn, we do have some awkwardness. So in Chicago, first of all, this is a one-way street, right? So, but in Chicago and in the Midwest in general, you can turn right on a red light. So technically I can go right here. Whenever there's a gap and there are no pedestrians, there's a bus behind me. I'm surprised they didn't lose patience. But now the light is green, it's starting to go forward, and we wait for the gap with the pedestrians. Again, a brilliant moment for full self-driving, and proceeds forward. So nice. Immediately gets into the left lane because we need to go left here. That was really well done. And then again, getting into the left lane, you can barely even see the lines on the road. Now in this case, I'm kind of in between both lanes. So I feel a little bit uncomfortable in this situation, and I'm keeping a close eye on my rear view mirror to make sure if somebody's coming up behind me that they're not thrown off. Now, it's not going to create a huge issue, but you do see that a Chevy comes up behind me, and they, for some reason, have their hazard lights on. Not sure what that's all about. But we are turning left here again onto Michigan Avenue, and watch what happens here. The light will turn green, and it comes forward. This is another moment where it's extremely impressive. And it's amazing to me because full self-driving has a mind of its own, it seems. This is exactly what you need to do in downtown Chicago. You have to go into the middle of the intersection when the light is green. Otherwise, people are extremely impatient. Look at all these people crossing. Needs to find the gap. Steering wheel's moving ever so slightly. That's the perfect exact time to go. Very well done. Right turn signal went on there very briefly and then went off. Again, the biggest indicator of a Tesla using full self-driving is the turn signal behavior if you're driving behind a Tesla and you're curious. I know that if I didn't have a Tesla myself, I'd always be wondering, are they using self-driving? Are they using self-driving? You can see some cones here blocking off this utility vehicle on the right. My car stays the course, Coming up here though, we do need to get all the way over to the right. We have some distance here still yet to get over, but I'm constantly thinking, what's it going to do? Now look at this, we do have a blocked path in front of us. Again, incredible maneuver. It sees that, detects it immediately, and moves over. And then look at that, in one full swoop, it gets right back into the middle. That's exactly what I would have done as a human driver. Maybe a little bit smoother and faster, but that's what you need to do. And here again, we're blocked off. There's some construction there. Now that's new. I have not seen that before. Usually I would be into the right lane here. The car is not indicating, and now it does. It moves over. I've had some issues in the past at this intersection, but in this particular case, no issues whatsoever. The light turns green. We do have a car right in front of us that's kind of leading the way, and we have a lot of pedestrians here crossing through the intersection. Change the view here again, just to switch things up, and you can see all these people. It's pretty straightforward here because we need that gap right before you can go, and that lead car is kind of paving the way. Now the biggest concern is what happens if a light turns red or yellow as it's starting to go. Will it stop midway or will it keep going? You can see a car there cheats and cuts in front. And two people come out right at the last second, and it's yellow, and it goes. I didn't have to do anything. That is great. In the past, full self-driving would have hesitated, it would have choked. Now look at this bus. Immediately gets over to the left, but a car behind me plays it safe. That was great. Beautifully done. Now it got into that bus lane in the past and got stuck. Someone had mentioned that someone from Tesla maybe remotely came into my car and got it out of that situation. I highly doubt that is the case. Tesla has never done that before, and that's not how they operate. In the future, perhaps, but not today. And here is this intersection. We're waiting. A lot of people crossing. And it waits very patiently. Nobody behind us, and then proceeds forward. Now in the past, this intersection created an issue. In fact, I had it run through this red light, and I'll do a replay here. This intersection is a little bit weird because if you come up to this white line, the traffic light is basically, it disappears. So this was on 12/5/15. On August 23rd, it comes up here, slows down to 4 miles an hour, and then immediately starts going. It just runs the red light completely. I was not expecting that, but here it comes up to the red light. It stops. Now, I don't know why or what changed here, but by the way, I've been testing this a lot down here, and it's never ran that red light, so I think that was kind of a rare situation. And I can't even see the light, to be honest, sitting there in the car. It turns green though, and it knows exactly what to do. And look at this, it gets over to the left away from that parked car, but there was another car in the left lane, so it waits for them. Again, these things are just so well done. It really impresses me every single time. Now look at this gentleman. He's kind of indicating that he might cross, and these other two people, the car is really aware of these things. And this is what makes full self-driving a lot safer than driving all by yourself. And if you are in an unknown environment and you've never been into a city before, using self-driving is a savior. I mean, especially if you don't know the streets and you don't want to navigate yourself, it's just a real huge convenience. Look at this, yellow light moves forward. Beautiful. Yet again, huge success there. I absolutely love that. And then coming up here, left turn, getting all the way into the left lane. This is another one that it's had some struggles with in the past, depending on how many people are there, but moves forward. Look at this, another yellow light. Accelerates through. Again, beautifully done here. And then we have a straight shot here. We come up to a bridge though before we come to the Chicago Theater. And this bridge is really fascinating because there is a light post right down below. Look at the lanes here. It starts going to the right and it's kind of confusing, but then it tries to go over to the right again, notices there's a car there, and then tries to go to the left. Again, some strange behavior, but here is that traffic signal right there, and it seemed to slow down for that. I'm not sure exactly what it slowed down for. In the past, it has slowed down for that traffic signal, even though it's never on. Well, it turns on when they lift the bridge for boats to go over the river. And left turn signal is on. We are turning left onto Lake Street. Here I did change the navigation to take it over to Lakeshore Drive. And you can see I cannot turn left here. There was a sign back there. And my hands are there ready to take over. Thankfully it did not go there, although I think that was just a random accident. The nav there on the right, you could see it just changed, so it now rerouted to go straight. It really wanted to go left there, and I can tell you with 100% certainty it did not see that sign. It just, for some random reason, couldn't figure out where to go. And at this intersection, I've had issues in the past where it just won't go, and you get traffic that builds up here. I'm sorry, it's this one right here. Take a look at this light. So it's red here. It's very tough to get through here. It's only like one car at a time that can get through here. So this car has a chance to go, but there's tons of pedestrians, a lot of cars coming. Thankfully, I am not sticking too much out into the intersection here, so it's safe to stay here at this point. That car goes, and I'm thinking, oh, I could have gone. If I was driving manually, I really would have pushed forward. I'm like, okay, I'll wait. And the only reason why is because that car just came up behind me. So now we wait for another cycle with the light. It turns green. My car goes forward. Now I'm beyond the point of return. I can't go in reverse. I'm sticking out in the intersection. But we have a fire truck or an ambulance or something here comes into the intersection. And this kind of screws the whole thing up. Still a green light. Starts to go, but look at all of the people. So again, I'm kind of locked, and now we've got a semi-truck. This is a very complicated maneuver here. A bicyclist. Now it's red. I have to go because I'm sticking out in the intersection, so that is my first intervention. And it lands itself in the bus lane. Thankfully, gets out of the bus lane quickly. Not ideal. So I do report that. And you can report things with voice feedback. For the original gangsta testers, the original group testers, as I like to call them, they do still have the camera button on the top of their screen. That's something unique for people that have been testing for a very long time, like myself. A lot of people have asked, how do you get into that program? You have to do something extremely influential, and you have to really be hustling a lot to post content, I believe. And I don't even think they're letting people in. Look at this. Green light, it's not going. Nobody behind us, but it really needed to go forward there. I don't know why it hesitated. Maybe because of the contrast with the sky or the sun or something. Although it did show that the light was green on the screen, it just hesitated way too much there. And proceeding forward, this is where we came in before, so we've been through this area, but look at this now. We are completely locked. So what is going to happen here? We have this car locked onto the left, and then yet again another car right beside us, kind of in our blind spot, blocking us. But we have a car right in front of us, and we can't go straight. And then someone is right behind us as well. So what is going to happen here? Let's take a look. Oh, wow. That, again, gave me goosebumps. In the moment, when you experience stuff like that, it is incredible. I mean, the car has a mind of its own. Let's go back and watch that one more time with a different view. I'll remove the graphics at the bottom and show in the car. That van in back of us thankfully slowed down just a little bit, just enough to allow us to move. But that came down to a millisecond decision right there. I mean, it had to act very, very quickly. I absolutely love that. Okay, proceeding forward, we are almost done with the trip here, and then I'll run through a quick summary. Take a look at this here, though. We have a straightaway here. We've got a couple lights to go through. We're going straight here, and then we eventually are going to have to get into the right lane. And it decides that it's going to try to get into the right lane right now. And it executes. It gets over there, which is fine. But then we have the road blocked, and immediately it goes around that car. I absolutely love that. So when all of these things happen in sequence like this, and look at this, again, getting over to the right, it's like you're playing Mario Brothers and you're just collecting coins. It's just one after another. You get all of these sequences that add up. And here, again, we have a very complicated intersection. But we're not turning right, excuse me. We're going straight here. Look at this car, it's blocking our way. It waits for the opportunity. That car behind us, thankfully they slowed down. But that's one of those situations where if you're not assertive enough, you can get stuck there for a long time. And it did awesome there. Again, like I said, it's like collecting coins in Mario Brothers. So all of these things have been adding up, and it just gives me goosebumps again to see this happening. We are so close to having full autonomous cars driving around, and I am a big believer in data really being the solution to this problem. It just takes enough of it, and already I'm seeing these amazing maneuvers, and it's just absolutely incredible to me. I can't say that enough. I'm very repetitive. I've been saying the same things. This drive, we had 2 interventions and 2 disengagements. Overall, that drive was really, really great. My impressions here in the moment is that it was a bit indecisive with the lane selections. It tended to go left and then right and left and right quite a bit throughout that drive, but its lane selection overall was very good. There were a lot of times where the right turn signal was on, and if it had gone into the other lane, to the right-hand lane, it would have gotten blocked because there were a lot of vehicles stopped there. So even though it had its turn signal on, it avoided going over there altogether, and I loved that behavior, although it may have created a little bit of confusion for people behind me. Generally speaking, I think it did very well, like I said, and it didn't interrupt people behind me either. I did get quite a few views driving through the city with all of my camera gear. I do have a video coming up sharing how to get set up inside of your own car for very low cost to get filming and document this, because full self-driving is about to take off. It's about to go viral. Everybody's going to start learning more and more about it. Still, the vast majority of people have no idea how good this software is. And for those of us that have been testing it and using it, we all know and understand how powerful it's becoming. It's just a matter of time. Everybody's skeptical and impatient when it comes to that, but you have to keep in mind, this is the first time anybody's ever tried to solve general autonomous driving. So it's a matter of time with the data and the AI and the weights and the different curating that the humans are doing with the video clips that are being sent in. So we have to remain patient, but I am extremely optimistic because the car, I'd say 9 out of 10 times already today in its current state does the right thing. And that to me is very impressive. Generally speaking, overall, like I said, I was very happy with that drive. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. And if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It goes a long way towards supporting me. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subs. And if you liked this video, certainly hit that like button. Thanks everybody. We'll see you in the next one.